Ilia Topuria rose through the UFC ranks incredibly quickly, amassing a very impressive undefeated record. He became the UFC featherweight champion, knocking out legendary featherweight and potentially the best featherweight of all time in Alexander Volkanovski. He followed that up with another legendary KO of Max Holloway, and then vacated his belt, moved up to 155 pounds, and absolutely decimated Charles Oliveira. And throughout his rise, his wife and the mother of his second child accompanied him in the cage, in interviews, and just about everywhere. And they seemed like MMA's biggest power couple. They seemed unbreakable and in full support of each other.
We believe things and then we see it, right? Most people, they are like, oh, maybe. And I always tell him, like, it's already in our mind. So you're going to be the world champion. That's it.
Wow. What a power couple you guys are. This is unbelievable. What is it like seeing your can I ask your girlfriend, your significant other getting punched in the face? Does that make you sick to your stomach? I would throw up if it was me.
To be honest, I felt really bad, but for the other guy, because I knew that he was gonna, I knew what I was saying, like, baby, you should have a little bit of mercy.
Oh my gosh. Did you have mercy?
If one needs to die, it's not going to be my guy.
Oh my gosh. I like this. This is a little trash talking here. This is nice.
Your face lit up when they went on.
Yeah, right. It's amazing. We already dreamed this so many times. We always say that you have to see things before they happen. And when they happen, it's just a manifestation of what you already saw.
Another dream come true.
But as time has gone on, that facade has broken. Rumors of Ilia Topuria and Giorgina Uzcategui breaking up began to circulate several months ago, and now Ilia Topuria has decided to step away from the sport for some time while this divorce gets sorted, which led to the booking of Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett at UFC 324 early next year for the interim lightweight belt. Paddy Pimblett has spoken out in support of him and other fighters as well, but now it looks like Ilia Topuria's career is facing its most pivotal moment, and it's not even in the cage. That is because he is now having to defend himself from upcoming domestic violence allegations and potential extortion lawsuits from and to his ex-wife. We are in the midst of one of the most confusing and serious developments in MMA in recent times. In this video, we're going to break down what information is out there so far and just how Ilia Topuria's career could be derailed by allegations made by his ex-wife. Stick around to hear the story that we have right now and the information that is available. My name is Wyatt. Welcome to Fight Society. What's going on, guys? Before we get in the video, please do me a huge favor, like and subscribe down below. And if you're watching on your phone, swipe left on the comment section and hit that hype button. It's a new YouTube feature that allows you as the audience to help small creators like me grow even more than liking and subscribing, all right? Now let's get into it because we have some very serious things to talk about today in the form of Ilia Topuria breaking his silence about the divorce and separation from his soon-to-be ex-wife, Giorgina Uzcategui. Now, here we have the official statement posted by Ilia Topuria today, and I think it's important to read it in its entirety, so I will. This right here says official statement. He posted it in English and Spanish. Here in English, Madrid, December 15th, 2025. Over the past several weeks, I have made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending my title. This was not a decision that I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point when you must address them directly. In recent months, I have been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands are met. These allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence. All relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This evidence has been submitted to the appropriate judicial authorities in order to pursue legal action for attempted extortion, false falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds and personal property, and multiple threats. My initial decision to remain silent was solely made to protect my children, who are the most important part of my life. However, I have come to understand that silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold. Many individuals have faced similar situations, and time and again, the legal system has ultimately clarified the facts. Today, I am stepping forward not only for my family and myself, but also to demonstrate that no one should be forced to yield to intimidation, manipulation, or fear. Those who know me can attest that I have never engaged in violence of any kind, and that my life and career have always been guided by discipline, respect, and integrity. I have full confidence in the judicial process and will allow the legal system to determine the facts based on evidence. Out of respect for my children and the ongoing legal proceedings, I will not be making any further public statements, and I respectfully ask that speculation be avoided and that my family's privacy be honored during this sensitive time. The truth does not require volume. It requires facts. Thank you, Ilia Topuria. Now, first off, I just want to say this is an incredibly sad situation for Ilia Topuria to be in right now. I mean, there's tons of men every single year that get falsely accused of domestic abuse, sexual assault. Now, there are real allegations that do take place. There are real accusations that take place, of course. I'm not trying to diminish the ones that are real, diminish the ones that actually happen, because women and men coming forward as victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, any of those type of things is a very hard thing to do, and it affects them for the rest of their life. In this situation, Ilia Topuria says that he is being falsely accused and extorted essentially for money, property, and probably custody of his kids as well. Now, Ilia Topuria has stayed mostly silent on the matter, which I understand. You know, your legal team says, yo, sit down, shut the fuck up. Let's see how this plays out. Let's provide the proper evidence. But now we're getting to the point where rumors of Ilia Topuria being a domestic abuser have started to circulate. And the first time that I heard about this was from an off-the-record source several weeks ago, that Ilia Topuria's wife was going to be mounting domestic violence allegations in their court case in regards to their divorce for the sake of getting more beneficial custody of their children, or just the one child, because I guess Hugo, the son that looks a lot like Ilia Topuria, I guess is not her child. Custody of the child that they have together, resources, money, personal property, funds, all this type of shit, assets. The rumors have been floating around for several weeks that she was going to be making these allegations against Topuria in divorce court. Ilia says that this domestic violence did not take place. And actually, he says not only that they didn't take place, he said that even further, that he is being essentially extorted by his ex-wife, that there's falsification of evidence and misappropriation of funds and personal property and multiple threats. Now, what that means is that this is the rumors that have been going around for weeks now. So this is not really news to me. This is just new that Topuria has commented on it. But the rumors were that she was going to make these allegations to get full custody of their daughter, get more than half of the assets, and take his money and a whole lot of other shit. That she's essentially going to try and ruin Ilia Topuria's name in divorce court. A lot of this has leaked because the Spanish media is very gossipy. A lot of things tend to leak from the TMZ type of media in Spain. For those people saying that Ilia Topuria should vacate right now the lightweight title, I totally disagree, because Ilia Topuria, it's only been 6 months. I know he didn't take any damage against Charles Oliveira, but with this being the situation, I think the UFC and other fighters should be very, very respectful and understanding about this situation, especially if all of this is not true. If you ask my honest take on the matter, just with the evidence that I have now and the things that I've heard, I don't think that Ilia Topuria is a domestic abuser. I truly don't. Of course, I could be dead wrong. If he is, and if he did these things, he should face the consequences. Let's be real. But in my opinion, I don't think that Ilia Topuria is a domestic abuser. I think that he is now caught up feeling the wrath of a very, very angry, scorned woman. And he's not completely innocent here. The rumors are that they broke up because he was caught texting other women. All right. If those are true, then I understand why they broke up. I understand why his wife's leaving him, but it does not justify false allegations being made. And not everything is the same. Just because he cheated on her, even if he did cheat on her, but just even him potentially cheating on her does not automatically mean that he's a domestic abuser. I know there's people saying, well, he cheated on her, so he must have hit her as well. There's no way to, draw that A to B connection and say that those are the exact same thing. This is a very serious legal matter, and I understand why the UFC is going to let him take his time. If this goes on for a few more months and we hit like March and there is no end in sight, then I could see them stripping Ilia Topuria. But maybe this all gets cleaned up, he gets his name cleared, and he's fighting on the White House card against Patty Pimblett or Justin Gaethje, something like that. But at the end of the day, serious allegations being made against one of the biggest stars in our sport. Let's be real, this is not a Conor McGregor type of situation. The allegations that get brought against Conor McGregor make sense to a certain degree because he's an off-the-rails cokehead. Then there's been so many allegations that you have to think that at least one of them, whether it be hitting a woman, sexual assault, punching an old man in a bar. Like there's so many crash out type of tendencies for Conor McGregor that it makes allegations seem more and more believable. Ilia Topuria, I know he talks shit and there's people that don't like him for shit talking Volk and Max Holloway and all this stuff. But if you look at Ilia Topuria's behavior, his character, he's a very respectable guy. He's very respectful to his opponents for the most part. And he doesn't have any previous allegations. He doesn't have any domestic violence allegations, sexual assault allegations, drug use allegations, crime, anything like that. Everything that we have seen to this point is that Ilia Topuria is a mostly stoic, God-fearing man that loves his kids and loves fighting, is a world-class fighter. He actually seems just about as squeaky clean as it gets. Now, of course, that doesn't mean he's innocent here. That's just my opinion based on what I've seen from him and what I've seen from the evidence. But it just seems interesting that now when there is a breakup, when there is a divorce and there is money, child custody, all these things on the line, now he's a domestic abuser. If he was a domestic abuser, how come these things didn't come to light sooner? Why didn't she leave him sooner? If he cheated and that's what made her leave, you think she would have left when he hit her too. I'm not in her shoes, especially if all of this is true and he did do these things. I'm not going to defend him, but at this point in time, I really don't think that Ilia Topuria beat on his wife. I think that the stardom started to get to him and that he wanted some options when it came to the bedroom is essentially what I think happened. And furthermore, let's be real, he might have decided to leave her because she was bad to him. There's also that possibility. He may have not cheated. He may have not abused her. He may have decided to leave this woman based on how she acts in the relationship. And then she decided to counter with all types of allegations. All right. So when we look at Ilia Topuria's statement, of course, he's not addressing the cheating, but he is saying that the domestic violence allegations are not true. And he's even saying that he's being extorted for custody and money. And if that's the case, fuck it, lock her up. You know what I'm saying? Quick break. If you're loving this video and you want more from Fight Society, click that join button down below to become a channel member today, where you'll get access to members-only live streams, behind-the-scenes vlogs, and all the unfiltered stuff that we don't post to the main channel. Back to the video. Ilia Topuria has also said, I covered this yesterday, quote, I do not have an exact date when everything will be fixed. At this time, I will prioritize the welfare of my children and my family. As soon as everything is solved, I will be back in the octagon. Now, he does have 2 young children. Hugo is like 5 or 6 years old, literally looks like a clone of Ilia. Up until yesterday, I actually thought that he had both of his children with this Giorgina character, but it turns out that Hugo has a separate mother that is not in the public eye, but that their 1-year-old daughter they have together, and Hugo is her half-brother. Now, this has got to be really confusing for 6, 7-year-old Hugo Topuria, where his father is being accused of domestic violence and he's this big star, all this stuff, and that he's being accused of something really, really terrible. And I really, really feel bad, especially if it's not true. I feel bad for Ilia, for one, for being accused, extorted, and all of this, but also for this young 5 or 6-year-old kid. He's going to get called as a witness in divorce court. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to say something in court, which really, really sucks. And it's probably going to traumatize him for life. I hope that this is all not true and that it's going to make him and his father even closer. But Ilia Topuria is going to be out for some time. And that's why we have the interim title fight taking place between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. Now, of course, if the allegations are proven not to be true and Ilia returns, he is literally going to come back and kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? It says right here, she took the kids, Paddy. She was everything to me, Armin. Her absence has freed my hands, Justin. I have nothing left to lose now, Islam. The bounce back from this, hopefully, is him with a clear reputation, a clean slate, free of whatever's going on in that relationship and what happened, with his name cleared, hopefully. Because honestly, the best case scenario, let's be real, is that she's lying. I mean, I would literally rather her be lying for the sake of everybody's safety. I'd rather her be lying and just hate Ilia for cheating or just lying on him because he's leaving her than have Ilia actually beat somebody. I mean, it's actually far less harmful if she's lying, because that means she didn't get beat on. He didn't abuse anybody. And it fulfills that kind of like Andrew Tate narrative of women lie a lot. And I'm not saying I'm some big Andrew Tate fan, not at all. But Andrew Tate is one of the people in the community that has spoken out, says, I don't know Topuria, but I do know that women lie, innocent. Now, of course, Andrew Tate went through his own sort of human trafficking trial where it was proven that there was essentially no evidence and that those charges got let go. I'm not really going to get into a whole Andrew Tate thing. I'm not really a fan of the guy. I think he says a lot of dumb shit. Of course, some of his quotes are very factual and he has some funny quotes as well. And I'm not going to sit here and make this like an Andrew Tate type of conversation. Not even close. But what I hope happens is that she lied, honestly, because that would mean that physically nobody was harmed. This would also mean for the greatest redemption arc in history where he doesn't go down the McGregor rabbit hole. He doesn't go down the McGregor path of cocaine and drugs and cheating and all types of women and sexual assault allegations and drug use and arrests and lawsuits and all these different things. I think Ilia Topuria is going to head back the other direction. I think he's going to go right where McGregor went left. And he's going to get his name cleared and he's going to come back and put on the craziest knockout or continue the craziest knockout streak because it was Volk, Charles, and Max. And of course, if he did do these things, then yeah, he should face the consequences. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, she probably deserved it. If he's a domestic abuser, he should face the consequences, whether that be custody of his kids, whether that be him losing his belt, whether that be him losing assets or anything like that. There's in no way, shape, or form am I saying that domestic violence is okay. A little bit of levity to bring to this is where he says, those who know me can attest that I never engaged in violence of any kind. I mean, that's kind of a blanket statement. Of course, he's referring to his wife, but what about what he did to Volk, Max, and Charles? That was pretty fucking violent, if we're being real. And some people in the community have spoken up as well. Andrew Tate says women lie. Paddy Pimblett right here says that he hopes everything goes perfectly for him. And this is very, very classy. I mentioned this in my video yesterday. This is very, very classy from Paddy Pimblett because Ilia is somebody that he's had beef with in the past. And he says, I hope it goes perfectly for him.
Ilia's going to be ready May, maybe the summer.
No idea. He's got a lot going on in his personal life, lad, and like I wish him nothing but the best with it. That's nothing to do with me and him fighting. That's his family, and I hope everything goes well. I hope that goes perfect for him. All I care about is getting him in that octagon and fighting him. Anything in his personal life, I hope it goes well. But you never know, if he doesn't come back by June, July, then he might have to vacate his belt and I'll become undisputed champ without even fighting.
So one, I mentioned this yesterday, but very respectable response from Paddy, and him and Ilia both seem like good dudes. That's why I just think these Ilia allegations are an angry woman that either got dumped, cheated on, and she wants his money, she wants his kid, all that. Now, good on Paddy because they've had plenty of beef and he still says, I hope everything goes perfectly for him. This is not the Conor McGregor approach of, I want to kill this guy in front of his kids. Fuck you, your wife's a hoe. All the things that he said to Dustin Poirier. Regardless of the beef between Paddy and Ilia, they've kept it semi-respectful. And Paddy, he's got a wife and kids of his own. I'm sure he knows to a certain degree that sometimes there's problems in relationships and that having this personal life is really, really hard. But with that said, there is the flip side of this where Bryce Mitchell accuses Ilia of being a wife beater just on the allegations. And this is crazy to me considering somebody like Bryce Mitchell, who points out conspiracy theories left and right, points out, you know, government corruption and this and that and the other without any evidence, without even an official allegation being made by his wife or anything like that. Ilia tried to get ahead of these allegations. And here Bryce Mitchell is, who's been accused of some crazy shit himself. Actually, not even really accused. He did it to himself by saying Hitler's a good guy. But here he is saying that he wants to fight him because he's a wife beater.
Y'all remember when I fought Ilia and he won, and then afterwards he got a pair of overalls and was making fun of me because I run a farm and I run around in overalls, and he thought that was hilarious. Well, I got something for you, bitch. This is called the Wife Beater Special. That's right, I got my wife beater on for Ilia Topuria. That bitch puts his hands on a woman. You know, I grew up without a dad. You know, never seen my dad, never will see my dad. And you know what? I'd rather not see my dad than have my dad there beating on my mom. Let me tell you something, what that'll get you killed around these parts, son. That shit ain't no joke. There ain't nothing funny about it, and I just had to let you know you're a straight up bitch for that. And your brother's a bitch too. I'll fight him. I'll beat his ass. You got lucky I was sick, or I'd have beat your ass. And look, you don't deserve to get to see your kids, son, because you put your hands on their mother. You're a coward. That shit is sickening. But anyways, bro, who am I to judge? I fall short of the glory of God too. Ilia, you need to repent, return to Jesus Christ, and if you repent, you won't rot in hell, bro. But you better really mean it, and you better really repent, and probably stop drinking too. You probably got a drinking problem, man. But return to Jesus Christ, you will be forgiven, and if not, you're gonna rot in hell, bro, because that's where women beaters go. And you know, one more thing for you, Ilia. Wives ain't like belts, okay? It ain't the more the merrier. You're supposed to have one man, one woman, to become one, okay? You're out running around working on your third wife now. Hell, you think they're championship belts and you're trying to get 3 or 4. You're an idiot, dude. You need to take notes from a guy like me. By the way, Ark Insanity episode 6 is out right now. It's totally family friendly. You can watch episode 6 with your kids. I don't curse in it or anything like that. Or I don't curse a bunch. But anyways, y'all check it out. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Now I just got to be honest here. Bryce Mitchell's not necessarily someone to take super seriously all the time, okay? Now, for him to say, you beat your wife, you probably have an alcohol problem, and you're running around looking for a third wife. Fucking really, really sick, in my opinion, to just start accusing Ilia Topuria when he tried to get ahead of allegations himself. I think this is fucked up. You can't just sit there and say you're probably an alcoholic, you beat women, things like that. There is so many false allegations that go around. And I've said this multiple times in this video. If Ilia Topuria did in fact beat on his wife, everything that Bryce said here is true. But when you sit there, talk a bunch of shit about a guy that beat the shit out of you a couple of years ago, embarrassed you, and then plug your podcast at the very end, it seems really fucking disingenuous. And you're all here like reaching with alcohol, this stuff, this, that, and the other. Ilia Topuria has never really given us a reason to think he's a bad guy, in my opinion. Of course, I know you guys are going to dispute that in the comments, but as a character and how he carries himself, Ilia Topuria has always been the definition of a professional. The definition of a professional. He's shown respect to every single opponent after beating them. Bryce Mitchell's a loose cannon. I don't necessarily dislike Bryce Mitchell, but holy shit, this is so far off the mark to sit here and throw around a bunch of allegations that Ilia got out in front of. It's not like she came out with a bunch of pictures of like black eyes and shit, and then Bryce Mitchell comes in like, yeah, fuck this guy. No, this seems like Bryce Mitchell is still to this day reeling from the beating he took from Ilia Topuria, and now he has a chance to like be like, ha, see, I knew something was wrong. And he was saying he was sick when they fought too. I mean, like, this is kind of pussy shit. And I really think that it comes from this right here. Is Ilia clowning on Bryce Mitchell for the whole flat earth take on the PBD podcast?
Telling you, Earth don't spin, it don't rotate, it don't orbit. The Earth is stationary.
Okay, just suppose that the Earth is flat, and what we do with that information, bro? What the fuck are you talking about? Even if it's flat, what it changed to me? What I do with that information? Okay, someone comes to me, the Earth is flat. Okay, you convinced me, and what? What happens now?
Honestly, kind of a base take from Ilia Topuria, because he goes, Okay, you convince me. What do I do with that information? And somebody like Bryce Mitchell that is so committed to like the media telling lies and politics lies and all these different things, for him to go and take an allegation that's being made against Ilia Topuria and spin it into this big story, he's literally doing the same thing that he calls out politicians and news stations for doing. I don't think Bryce Mitchell's the sharpest tool in the shed here, but I don't even think he sees how hypocritical this take is, where he criticizes like politician, President Trump, CNN, Fox, all these different news stations and say that they lie and spin narratives. And then he's going here and connecting a bunch of dots that don't even exist yet to go and come to a conclusion and spin a narrative. And then plugging his podcast at the very end seems very, very disingenuous. So this is where we're at right now. Most fighters like Paddy Pimblett and other people are hoping that Ilia Topuria gets his name cleared and that it goes quote unquote perfectly for him. And I think that's what most of us should as well. I think that most of us at one point or another have dealt with somebody lying on us, whether that be a woman saying that you cheated on her, whether that be a woman saying that you hit her or did this or that, or somebody lying, even just women set aside, saying that you did something you didn't do. Somebody lying and making up a story about you. It weighs heavy on you because people are questioning your character and all of that without any evidence. And Ilia Topuria flat out says, we have evidence, it's been carefully documented, and we've reported it to the authorities. So I hope that if Ilia Topuria's name gets cleared of all of this, that Bryce Mitchell comes out and apologizes, because this is honestly, if Ilia Topuria is innocent, this is some really sick, twisted shit from Bryce Mitchell. And I don't expect a whole lot out of him, but god damn, this was a swing and a miss from Bryce. Whereas Paddy says, I don't know what's going on. I hope it gets worked out. And frankly, I hope it gets worked out too. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, the best possible scenario is that this woman was lying, is that his ex-wife is lying about all of this. If that's the case, I feel bad for Ilia Topuria. And if it's not the case and Ilia Topuria is lying here, then he should face the consequences as well. So that's my thoughts. A very serious allegation being made against Ilia Topuria. This is probably the biggest stain on his career, and it could very well dim the very bright star in MMA that Ilia Topuria is. It could cost him some of his athletic prime. It could cost him his undisputed title. And then we have salty ass Bryce Mitchell over here saying that he hopes that he rots in hell. That's crazy. So let me know your thoughts down below. Again, not a ton of information available right now. It's all just conjecture and opinions and one statement from Ilia Topuria. I hope that this is not true. I hope Ilia Topuria is innocent as hell. That's the best case scenario for everybody. And I hope he gets back to the cage as soon as it's resolved and that he can get back to building GOAT status. Let's be real. If he comes back and knocks out like Paddy, Gaethje, Arman, and Islam, he's the best fighter to ever do it. So I hope that this is all just false allegations. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you want more from Fight Society? Like and subscribe below this video and click the join button to become a channel member today to get access to behind the scenes vlogs and members only live streams.